On December 28, 1973, President Nixon signed the Endangered Species Act into law. The ESA, as it's commonly referred to, has become one of the most important environmental laws in history. In his signing statement, President Nixon wrote, "Nothing is more priceless and more worthy of preservation than the rich array of animal life with which our country has been blessed. It is a many-faceted treasure of value to scholars, scientists, and nature lovers alike, and it forms a vital part of the heritage we all share as Americans."
Trump administration decided on Monday to end a law of the protection of whales and sea turtles caught in fishing nets on the west coast of the United States. This legislation was created despite the fact that the fishing industry proposed the measures first. The Department of Marine Fisheries, a division of the Department of Commerce, said it was decided that the new safeguards were not guaranteed. Under the new regulations, quotas would have been established for 5 species of marine animals and 4 species of marine turtles. The agency said when these quotas were reached, the fisheries would have been closed for the rest of the season and probably for the following season. These rules were proposed by the 2016 by the Obama administration. Some conservation groups say that this was one of the first actions to protect endangered species off the Pacific coast. Famous groups and their corporate sponsors seek to cut down ancient forests, mine rocks, and drill for oil in America's wilderness preserves. In order to orchestrate public support for their cause, these groups regularly disseminate false and misleading information about endangered species issues and perennially pressure Congress to weaken the act. For example, a recent study found that only 35% of species given protection under the Endangered Species Act were still declining 13 years or more after they had been given protection. And some of these declines were attributed in part to failures of government agencies to meet statutory deadlines to list and delist species, designate critical habitat, publish and revise recovery plans, and develop landowner incentives. Earlier listing of threatened and endangered species and prompt provision of critical habitat and recovery plans is recommended by ecologists who have studied this problem in detail.
Under the ESA, species may be listed as either endangered or threatened. Endangered means a species is in danger of extinction throughout all or a significant portion of its range. Threatened means a species is likely to become endangered within the foreseeable future. All species of plants and animals, except pest insects, are eligible for listing as endangered or threatened. For the purpose of the ESA, Congress defines species to include subspecies, varieties, and, for vertebrates, distinct population segments. Once a species becomes listed as endangered or threatened, it receives special protections by the federal government. Animals are protected from take and being traded or sold. A listed plant is protected if on federal property or if federal actions are involved, such as the issuing of a federal permit on private land. The term take is used in the Endangered Species Act to include harass, harm, pursue, hunt, shoot, wound, kill, trap, capture, or collect, or to attempt to engage in any such conduct. The law also protects against interfering in vital breeding and behavioral activities or degrading critical habitat. The primary goal of the Endangered Species Act is to make species populations healthy and vital so they can be delisted.
To be endangered means that a species is at risk of going extinct in all or a significant part of its range in the foreseeable future.
It's very important that we take care of endangered species because we need to preserve their presence here on our planet in any way possible. The reason we need to do that is because they all have a function in terms of biodiversity and ecosystem management.
Right now we're entering a period we call the Anthropocene, or the 6th extinction. It's a period of really rapid extinction all over the planet. And in 50 years' time, if we don't arrest climate change and we don't do something about habitat destruction and pollution, things are going to look pretty grim. We're going to be devoid of a lot of the species that we've come to know and love, and that's not really a rosy future. The difference about the 6th extinction is that it's happening right now under our noses, and it's largely our fault. It doesn't seem that fast to us on 1 or 2 human life scales, but on a geological time scale, what's happening right now is the blink of an eye.
Any animal or plant that we lose from the various ecosystems around the world plays a key role, and each time we lose one of those species, it can have severe impacts for everything on this planet, including humans.
People can really help the problem of marine extinctions by joining groups that resonate with them. Participate in a river cleanup or a beach cleanup, adopt an animal, do one of these things, and you're doing your little part to help offset the biodiversity crisis.
The vaquita, the world's most rare marine mammal, is on the edge of extinction. Following a rapid decline in population, there are currently only 30 individuals left.
In 2006, I interviewed marine scientist Bob Pittman. He just returned from an expedition in China after searching for the critically endangered river dolphin, Baji.
I think most of us that were on this cruise are still kind of coming to grips with this whole idea of extinction. Now we've lost a large animal off our planet, and it puts this whole thing into a different perspective. The future doesn't look good to me from here. And it looks like we're at the start of a new kind of extinction, and that is just animals going extinct because of human activity and because of increases in human population size on this planet.
Today, there is an escalating risk of extinction for a variety of marine mammal populations around the globe. Hector's dolphins in New Zealand, the Baltic harbor porpoise, river dolphins, and the vaquita in Mexico.
Now that the Baiji is gone, there's a little porpoise that lives in the northern Gulf of California, and there's probably a couple hundred of them left. They're dying each year in fishermen nets also. If something's not done in the next few years, the vaquita is going to go extinct also.
Only discovered in the 1950s, the vaquita is the smallest and rarest cetacean in the world. Less than 5 feet long, calves are the size of a loaf of bread at birth. It has a black circular patch around its eyes, and its black lips set off a haunting little smile. However, vaquita has no reason to smile. It's an animal few people have seen alive in the wild, and fewer have managed to capture on film.
Gray whale, listed as endangered in 1970 because it was threatened by commercial whaling, collisions with vessels, and habitat degradation. It was then delisted in 1993 and 1994 because the population went back to the original levels. Stellar sea lion, listed as endangered in 1990, delisted in 2013 because they were given a designated habitat. Virginia northern flying squirrel, listed as endangered in 1985 because they were threatened by the timber industry, then delisted in 2013 because the forest grew back and gave the squirrels their habitat. Brown pelican, listed in 1970 because they got caught in the oil spill from the Deepwater Horizon spill in the Gulf Coast, and pesticides like DDT causing eggs to thin and crack under the parents. It was then delisted in 2009 due to population levels increasing. Red kangaroo, listed as 1974 due to commercial importation. They were delisted in 1995, but brought back due to severe drought. They got delisted 10 years later because the population stabled. Bald eagle, listed in 1967 because they were impacted by DDT, which made their shells ultra thin. They also got poisoned from lead because of hunters. They got delisted in 2007, and now there are 9,789 nesting pairs, says U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service fact sheet. Morlet's crocodile, listed as endangered in 1970 because they were threatened about overharvesting and habitat destruction. Year delisted in 2012. American alligator, listed in 1979 as endangered because unregulated harvests of carnivorous reptiles and habitat degradation. Delisted in 1987. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service wants to continue to protect the alligator under the ESA classification as threatened due to similarity of appearance. Gray wolf, listed in 1967 due to population declines. Year delisted 1998, 2011, 2012, and 2013. Now they are watching the Mexican wolf. Peregrine falcon, listed as endangered in 1970 because of DDT with World War II, which caused huge effects on the food chains. They were delisted in 1999. With the current controversy about the Endangered Species Act getting abolished, we need to take a stand. If it gets abolished, then it will cause a ripple of effects with severe consequences. Rather than taking our chances, let's preserve the act that saved 99% of the species. To help with this issue, go to the following.